website. Good times. Alright, so, here's our guitar. We've got the 6th string, the thickest one closest to you, and I'm going to this is you just, in theory, watching this later. Right now, you just chill out. And the first string is this one. And we have this tablature stuff where there were 6 lines, and they corresponded to the 6 strings. So the bottom line on this very top one, I actually wrote over on the side the 6th string, 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string, 1st string. So yeah, on the page we've got 6 lines, and the 6th string is the bottom line, the 5th string is the next line down, and the 1st string's the very top line, which wasn't confusing you during the lesson or anything. And when you're looking at the tab, it just tells you what your hand's going to be doing. You're mostly going to be looking at your hand when you play. So if we look at this first chord that you learned during the lesson, E minor, or EM, which is also on the top line of the page, what we're going to do when you go to learn a new chord is you're just going to go 1 string at a time. So we're starting with the 6th string where you don't have to do anything. It's an open note. The next string down says the 2nd fret, and that's the 1st, 2nd fret right there. 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 15th fret. So yeah, everything we're going to be doing is going to be 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fret for right now, though. Anyway, so open here, and then we had the 2nd fret of this string with your middle finger. And then the next note was right on the string beneath it, your ring finger comes in and also plays the 3rd fret, the 2nd fret, excuse me. And those aren't ever going to be on the same string, otherwise, so it's, middle finger there on the 5th string, and your ring finger right under it on the 4th string. And then all the other strings said 0 on them. So we're looking at the thing here on the page that says 0, 2, 2, 0, 0, 0, 0. So that's you. And as soon as you just remember this is how it feels, you don't have to look at the page anymore. So the thing to avoid doing is trying to look at it and size up the whole shape. Just go 1 string at a time when you're first learning the chord. But the good news is we're just decided to have 2 things that are exactly the same shape. So try to get this to work. Your E minor chord, where you can strum, where you can play 1 note at a time. Things to watch for are being on the metal, which is called on the fret. We want to be between the frets. Anywhere in between is cool. Anytime you hear, wait, something's wrong, it might be that your guitar went out of tune, but you're probably going to get a new guitar before you start practicing, or that one of your fingers either isn't pushing down hard enough, or might be touching too many strings. We're trying to come straight in at the strings and touch 1 string with each finger. So there's that first chord. And just left hand wise, the only other chord that we're learning is this A+2 chord that's on the 2nd line down, which is just your hand hops down 1 towards the ground. You were here and you go to there. And it sounds like, if we look at the page, it's like, nothing there, okay, here they are, and then like that. So it's the same shape as this there. And if you were at home and there's a test on this, you'd just go, okay, nothing here, my middle finger, 2nd fret, my ring finger, 2nd fret, nothing here. But really, you're just going to be thinking about the same shape I was just playing, and then it scoots down towards the ground. So let's just try going. You play that chord, you take however long it takes, try to move your whole hand at once, and play the 2nd chord. So we're not even worried about rhythm at this point, or what we're going to do. We're just getting used to left hand. And again, we're holding the pick like this, where we're using our first 2 fingers. At first, everybody kind of wants to use their 2nd finger, but we're going to use these 2. And it's going to be like that. You're using the pointy part to pick. You want to be using the pointy part to pick, which is the thing that was during the lesson you were seeming to want to use the not pointy parts. Cool. So there's those first 2 shapes. And then we decided that we were going to learn to play 3 different rhythms. 2 of them are super easy, and if you learn the first 2, the 3rd one will be easy. The first one's just down, 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 and these are these down arrows where I wrote right hand rhythms with my really bad handwriting that you can totally still say. It says down and E minor and stuff like that. Cool, so first we're just trying to go... I actually just missed there. And the way the guitar looks is confusing because it seems like you would just put your pick here and then strum, but like we talked about during the lesson, what we're going for is hitting all the strings with the same amount of force, which means we're going to need this wind up. And then we just graze them all, not like bamboozle them, but just like a nice easy strum like that. So our first rhythm, which rhythm's a strong point for you, is just... So right now in your practice, what it says down at the bottom of the page is that when we're learning these rhythms, you're going to try to go, I can do it once well, pausing in between, and trying to really be consciously focused on what you're doing. And if you do something wrong, try to make any other mistake next. So right now, just stop and get really good at doing that. And if your left hand gets tired, no big deal. We're really working on your right hand right now. Cool. Now having done that, you're going to go for 2 times through. So that's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Stop until that gets easy to do. And then you're going to try to do it a whole bunch of times over and over again, which would sound just like... And this is not a very interesting rhythm. We're just doing it to get used to it. Awesome. It's worth noting that we're at like 6:30 in your video when we started talking about rhythm 2. I'm going to make some notes on that. Cool, so this rhythm is down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Which sounds like... We're thinking about 4 down ups as being 1 time through the rhythm. So we were just going down, up, up, so we're just putting an up in between. So that sounds again like... Keeping in mind all the stuff we talked about, like that your guitar should be sitting in this position, you should have your feet flat on the floor, your thumb's always going to be like this or like this, whichever one seems to give you a better grip, but not like this, not like this, just, thumb straight like that, which I'm just making a point to remind you of now. Awesome, so there's that second rhythm, and we're going to do the same exact thing we did with the first one, which is do it once, pause until that gets easy, do it twice, pause until that gets easy, and then try to do it a bunch of times. The bunch of times one is going to sound like... Cool. And there you go, so just stop your video and get good at that. And then our third rhythm, which we're doing right at like 8 minutes and 10 seconds, is half rhythm 1, half rhythm 2. It's down, 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 up, down, up. So same thing, go for 1 good time until that gets easy, 2 times through until that gets easy, and then you're going to be going down, down. I just did that 4 times. Cool. So the only other chord we learned is this A+2 chord. We don't have to worry about what the +2 means, just A something or other, which was your hand scoots down 1 towards the ground. So now just try those same rhythms with that chord. It should sound like that. So at this point your right hand knows what to do. This shape is really similar. It's identical, you just scooch down 1, so now work on those rhythms just 1 time through each with the new chord. Then the hardest thing that we're going to try to do is switch between those chords. So now in your practice, and when you do this your hand will be rested and you won't have just had to focus for an hour and stuff. Just try to go in your practice at home, this one, trying to switch really quickly with your whole hand, but then it's the same shape at the same exact frets, it just scoots down 1 towards the ground. And then let's just try to strum once each, and try to do it kind of quickly, like that fast. So now we're thinking more about your left hand again. and it's these two fingers. Cool. So right now this is the hardest part of what we're doing probably, aside from Out to My Hand, is moving really quickly between chord shapes, and that's why we picked ones that are just the exact same shape. So, great. So when that gets easy, let's try to go rhythm 1, which is just down, 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 once with the first chord, once with the second chord. So that'll be like switch. And before you worry about getting through the rhythm the whole way, just try to get up to here. Just actually doing the change, and then, because that's the hard part. And then when that gets easy, and your right hand will already be used to these, then you're going to do the same thing with the other rhythms. So rhythm 2 will be like, try this a little faster. Switch. Switch. And rhythm 3 will be like, so you have to move really fast, and that's the hardest part of what we're doing right now, is I really have to move fast, and that's why we zoomed in on that and did that first. So that's everything we actually went over during the lesson. Also on one line up from the bottom, I wrote the scale, the C major scale, which sounds like... And in this situation, we're now playing single notes, not chords, but just one note. A chord means like I'm hitting a bunch of strings. A single note is just I'm playing one note. So in this situation, it's going to be first finger is responsible for notes at the first fret, middle finger at the second fret, third finger at the third fret. And so it's going to, what you want to go for is just hanging out right above the strings, ready to push down, rather than like, out here or something. And this thing we're doing is like, so we can think of that as like section 1. And this is on the page, it says like third fret of this string. And then there's just 2 notes on the third string and 2 notes on the first string. So there we were. We just went. And when you're doing it first, just do it like it's a list of things. Don't worry about rhythm at all. Just be like, okay, however long it takes to get to the next note, and no guessing. Just take however long it takes to work out and what you're doing. Like, there's the only probably confusing part is that it's, this finger, then nothing, but we want to still stay close to the fretboard, then your middle finger, then your ring finger, then nothing, then your middle finger, then nothing, then your pointer finger. And as far as your right hand goes, we're picking down and away so that we just hit one string. There you go, there's everything we're doing. Enjoy your new guitar. Email me if you have questions or anything.